Let's bring in Charles Kupchan, former special assistant to President Obama and senior director for the European Affairs on the National Security Council in the Obama White House. Good evening to you, Charles Kupchan. Your analysis of what happened, because we understand that perhaps President Obama was also secretly concerned about President Joe Biden going ahead.
Yeah, I mean, let me just say that off the top, I have conflicting emotions. I'm saddened because I work closely with Biden. He's a great guy, and surely a difficult decision for him. But I also feel enormous relief because the Biden campaign was up against a tidal wave of voices, prominent Democrats, prominent donors saying it's time to step aside, and now we can hit the ground running and run a serious campaign against Trump. You know, did Obama matter? Sure, but he was one of many voices that were speaking up. And so I think what we're seeing here is a tide that turned irreversibly after that debate. Biden has been listening carefully to his advisors. He's been looking at poll numbers that are getting worse and worse. I don't think he really had a choice.
He may not have had a choice, but do you think he did it at the right time, leaving it only to 3 weeks before the convention and a nominee being named?
You know, I think he did do it at the right time in the sense that it took him some time to arrive at this decision. He had, I'm sure, lots of tough discussions with Jill, his wife, and his family and his close advisors. But we now have a decent interval before the convention. I think it's very important that he came out and endorsed Kamala Harris. Why? Because the Democratic Party is not unified. There's a strong progressive wing. There's a strong centrist wing. If he had just said, okay, have at it, it could have become a free-for-all. I think what will happen now is that people will start rallying around Kamala Harris. There could well be a straw poll that's called by the Democratic National Committee to make her the presumptive nominee before the convention in mid-August. You then have her ability to choose a running mate. They head into the convention with the presidential candidate, with the vice presidential candidate, and they're ready to go. And one other comment here. I think that J.D. Vance was an understandable fit pick for Trump, but it has left the center open. Trump was doubling down on appealing to the disaffected working class in the deindustrialized heartland. But picking J.D. Vance does not give him a lot of pull in those centrist, independent voters, moderate Republicans. I think this window of opportunity is one that we're going to see the Democrats capitalize on.
And a final word from you on your reflections, if you will, in about 30 seconds, please, on Joe Biden's legacy.
You know, he took over a country that was deeply divided, and he got through enormously important legislation to get working Americans back up on their feet. Ukraine is still standing, a remarkable feat given Russian superiority. He repaired alliances around the world with Europe and Asia. I think he accomplished an enormous amount. He made a courageous yet difficult decision to pass the baton a few hours ago.
Charles Kupchan, former special assistant to President Obama. Thanks very much indeed for joining us on Sky News.